Well, I did it. I sprung for the good stuff. Bunch of composted cow manure. And I'm actually surprised. I thought I would use all this trailer for my 2 new beds. And here's my 2 new beds. Yeah, so I had removed 2 beds here last year and was kind of missing them and thought, wow, now I've got all this yard and I still have 2 beds, and I'm gonna just have these be trellised plants and stuff. Probably maybe 1 cucumber and 1 tomato. So, I mean, these aren't completely full, but I'm definitely gonna fill them up a little more. So I'll use a little bit more of that compost, but still gonna have a lot. So yeah, as this takes shape, you'll see more of it, but this is pretty exciting for me. Not only will I have dedicated trellis garden beds, but this will provide some cover from the road. So like if my kids are playing, it kind of quarantines them into the yard and stuff. And a lot of people come speeding down this road like 80. It's a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and they come just flying down this road off the highway. So it's kind of a safety thing too. But I planted my pear tree, and this one is a golden spice pear. Put in a trellis for probably some peas. And then this one is an uri pear. So I guess they need each other for pollination. I just threw some potatoes in. Garlic's coming up nice. There's the potatoes. Garlic's coming up nice. I think those are the Corcus or Hyacinth, I forget, but yeah, they're blooming, which is cool. They're just so tiny. I wish they were bigger. When in the pictures they make them seem so big, but this little apple tree here I got from Home Depot. I don't recommend ever buying trees from Home Depot. This is what you get. This is the 2nd year now, and it's basically just a twig sticking up out of the ground. And when you get them, they're just little twigs. So, I mean, you want a really small tree forever, or I ended up paying pretty much the same price for those bigger trees. I got 5 Nanking cherries. You probably can't even really see them in here, but that's where they're at. The cherry tree is breaking out some buds. And my daffodils are blooming. So happy to have these here. I did plant this whole area with them, and it's been 3 years now, and gonna have to do some replanting. But what I end up doing is, once these die, I weed whip them and leave them lie, and then plant something else in here. I'll probably fill this with lettuce since it's really low. And this apple tree is doing pretty good as well, which is nice. My raspberries getting some leaves on it. I just planted a bunch of red cabbage and intermixed some potatoes in there. Looks like the blueberries are making buds. A little spot where me and the girls planted some spinach. That's coming up. And lettuce. That's all coming up. 4 rows of that, some spring mix. And over the next few days, I'll probably get some carrots and beets and stuff in here. In my asparagus patch, I threw some Brussels sprouts in there, and I think that was probably a big mistake. I told myself I'd never plant anything in here again other than just leave it for asparagus, but it always seems like towards the end of the year you kind of wish you'd have put something in there, because once the asparagus is done, there's nothing else growing. But these get so gigantic, I think it's probably better if I move them. And I invested in some flowers. Last year I grew my own, and it seemed like they didn't even bloom until August. So it's nice to have some color already. And then this is just all flowers in here, pansies. Up here I got cauliflower, broccoli, and I intermixed a bunch of potatoes just now. So again, going back to my Home Depot purchase, for 2 years in a row I had apricot trees, and they were, when I'd get them, they were just a twig basically, and then when I'd plant them, they would make some leaves. Well, then they never come back the next year. Well, these ones are giant. They're like 8 feet tall. I got one here, and I just planted one here, so I got a good feeling about these ones. I couldn't believe it when I saw them. Strawberry patch is kicking in. Should have strawberries soon. And I'm really excited about these grapevines. I've planted grapevines twice, and I would get them from pretty much the wrong spot. You know, I'd be doing groceries at Sam's Club or whatever, and I'd see, oh, they got Concord grapes. Yeah, they don't grow up here, and none of them ever took off. These are Valiant. These are really nice looking vines compared to any that I've ever had. And these definitely are proven up here. Pretty much everyone that has good grapes grows these, zone 3B. So yeah, my fingers are crossed. And finally, I got in my tulip bed, I put a bunch of onion sets. I'm not a big fan of growing from sets, but they're kind of like a backup. But I filled this whole bed with the onions. I have a bunch of starts in my greenhouse, so once those get a little bigger, I'll be planting onions everywhere. And I finished off the little bag of sets that I got and planted them in here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But yeah, the garden's up and running. Super stoked for this year. Got a lot of good things going on, and we'll just see how it goes. Take care.